Yo, what's going on, people? You are that doesn't make sense. I was gonna say you're watching, but you could be listening. This is No Money Mo Problems. Here with I'm very pleased to have you on this pod, you know, George.
Swear.
Yeah, bruv. Do you know why? Yeah, because we've been talking now for almost about an hour since you come in it. We had a bit of food and stuff and just talking and stuff. But I think the reason why I was happy, one, to have you on the pod is because it's not even to be like, oh, like, I remember when you first started. But there's a group of people, when I first started doing comedy at Sunday show and stuff, and there's this group of people that have, I won't say, I don't like to say group, because you've still got some people that are still doing their thing now, and, you know, will start, you know, that have gone there and haven't reached the heights yet, but they will.
Yeah.
But to have you on the pod, it's just like, rah, like, you know when you come full circle a little bit?
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
And even leading up, it was very reflective. I was like, rah, boy. Yeah, like, George, boy, shit. Like, and just before you was coming, I was thinking of all the things you've done from where you started at and to where you are now. For me, it feels like not like full circle in your career, but just to have you on the pod of from where I first ever interacted with you, the first time I ever met you, so which was at Sunday show. So yeah, it just feels like, rush. This is real, like, in my office. You know what I mean? And now, even like when I was like, so where'd you come from? Yeah, man, just having meetings. And it's always like, you know, when you watch films where like you've got kids and like, yeah, man, when I'm older, man, we gonna have matching Ferraris and shit. like, no, we have that. But it's that thing of just like, raw, this is mad full circle.
Yeah,
stuff,
man.
You know,
like I don't know if you noticed when I walked in, I couldn't control my smile, brother. Just looking around the office.
Ah, big ups, man.
Your name on the seats. Your name on the door.
Yeah, big ups, bruv.
It's like more than we can probably capture in this podcast, and more than I could put into a poem. But like you said, so much went into the journey up till now.
Oh yeah, so much, man.
I'm sure your audience don't know that you gave me the name George the Poet by accident.
Well, this is the thing. We were just talking about this just now, and it's almost like and even I was thinking, I was like, did I? I don't know. And then when you saying yeah, and then I was like, that's how I think I would have said. That's why I started laughing afterwards, because I was like, that's how I would have said it still. What's your name, brother? George. You man show some love to George the Poet, man. Get me.
Like, brother, I'm telling you. And it just hit me because I feel like past 3 years is when you've got super accelerated.
Definitely, yeah.
And obviously there was a constant bed of work, which we were just talking about, that might not get noticed or discussed as much for people who are just coming to learn about you. People might think that it's Instagram that busts you, when it's
of course, man.
It's a lot more than that. But at that point in my journey, to do Sunday show, big up Marvin, big up Napa, big up everyone who was part of that, and to just be finding my lane, it says a lot that I didn't really have a name, like an actual brand, a title up to then.
Yeah, but
I just took it from what you said and just ran with it.
But that was the thing though, because even at the time, some people know me as Mo the comedian, but then when I started doing like more TV and more press, I was like, my name is Mo Gilligan. Well, my full name is Mosiah. But the only reason why I ever shortened it down to Mo, because I get this, I get people assume that my name's Mohammed all the time, innit? Okay, it's so fun. Now it's become like a running joke, innit? When man will see me shoot, what, go on? Man like Mohammed, yeah? It's like, okay, jokes, yeah? I think one time I said it on Twitter, everyone just replied, okay, Mohammed. So like, and the only reason why I ever shortened it down is because when I first started doing those early shows, and I think you'll relate to this, I first started doing those early shows, I just wanted to just do the show. The name was secondary, which was a little bit different in music, because your name that's my name, bruv.
Part of it.
Yeah, it's like you need the name to, who was I listening to on radio? Oh, okay, I was listening to my man. But then I think there was this other batch of creative where you're like, I can't have a name like that. I can't call myself like, I love to just have a sick name, like, you know, when you think of names like Kano.
Yeah.
just sounds cold, bro. Like B-double-E, bro.
Like when I was a rapper, so I was a rapper from the age of 15 to 19. I met you when I was about 19, 20. So I was transitioning them times there. Mm-hmm. And yeah, them times my name was Shower Lim.
Yeah.
Do you get me?
Yeah.
And
you wanted a name that was like, that brother sounds cold still.
Kind of thing. Did you get me?
Yeah.
But yeah, I got to that point. I was like, nah. Because I'm trying to talk to them.
Yeah.
And if they think this is a performance where I'm putting on a show, their mind's going to be in a certain mode. Like, all right, let me be entertained, or let him try to entertain me. But if I come up, I'm like, I'm a brother called George. Anyway, hear what I'm saying. Like that's the energy that I felt in my heart when I was stepping on the stage. Anyway,
yeah.
And from a comedian's point of view, you're trying to connect. You're trying to connect on a level. So I can imagine why it's like there's like there's a comic called, remember Earthquake?
Yes. Yeah.
It's not common, and more time this is my government. This is who I am.
Yeah.
Or an alias like Jamie Foxx. That's not his name.
Yeah, I only found that recently, you know,
Eric
like
Bishop,
about 2 years ago. I said, what?
Eric, the man says Eric.
I found that out and I was like, I think someone tweeted it or something. I was like, nah. And a part of me was like, I wish you didn't tell me that.
Bro, he chose Jamie, and Jamie Foxx, because he's trying to get auditions. Yeah. And he noticed that women stood out more. So he wanted first of all, a gender ambiguous name. And Fox, that just, sound kind of like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, we all have these different like micro decisions that influence how we present ourselves.
And they change your life, because I remember that stage, early Sunday show days, before I started hosting, I was performing there. So I was just, I might come in and do a game show. I might just do some comedy. And for me, it was just like this was the place to be. This is where all the young people are going to, showcasing their talent, comedians, actors, rappers, poets, like everyone's here. And it was almost like quite underground. You got invited through like a BBM broadcast. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So like that's how, that's who's on, yeah? Yeah, I'm going. Or you seen it on the MySpace events. Do you know what I mean? So
you gotta be in the circles.
It was very much like, almost a bit like a secret society.
Facts.
You either knew about it and where it was, or you didn't even know it even happened. You
just had to know.
In the early stages. And the reason why with my name, I was like, I can't just be called my name. What that, like, we got some comedy by a guy called Mosiah. Everyone's like, nah, bruv. And I always had a lot of problems when I was in secondary school, because with my name, people would always get my name wrong, and it used to get on my nerves. And I spent loads of time like, no, man, this is how you pronounce it. So I just said, you know what? Call me Mo. And that was it. People was like, Wagwan Mo. You say Mo. And then when it came to comedy, I was like, I can't just be like I remember doing this show, I'll never forget. And then this girl was like, okay, so you're doing comedy, what's your name? I was like, it's mad extra. You know, you'd be extra cool back then. Yeah, just call me Mo. He's like, Mo. That's it, just Mo. Anything else? I was like, nah, just Mo. And I was like, yeah, that's it. And then I was on stage, I was nervous, so nervous. Done this small show, and it was like, okay, guys, we got some comedy. Guy called Mo. He does comedy. Guys, make some noise for Mo, the comedian. And that show went really well. And that made me keep the name.
Yeah.
Because the
you
show
want them
went
to remember.
Yeah. And that was like, I need to keep that name. And I remember just changing it on, I think I changed it on like my Facebook. Man. Like, you know, now that my Facebook is my name now, isn't it? Whereas back then I was like, nah, bruv, people gonna see that it's me, innit? Like, and
that's
then
exactly what I did. I changed it. It was Twitter at the time. I was just getting into Twitter.
Yeah.
After your intro, the show went well.
Okay.
I was like, let's latch on to what people are learning.
Man.
Change the handle to George the Poet.
Because I what I really enjoyed about those early days is pushing out your socials. Because now it's a little bit easier to find everyone now. Whereas back then it was like,
follow me up.
Make sure you follow me, guys. Like you'd finish your performance, smash it. Guys, just before I leave, this is my socials. Catch me on.
And you sit down on the bus on the way back, waiting for your little friends to jump. 12 today.
Yeah. Someone messaged you, yeah, man, I really like your I said, yo, what? Oh my God. Back then it was just someone that just followed you because you knew the where they just followed you from or interacted with you and stuff. Yeah. So I remember your early days of when you performed at Sunday show. And you know what I always rated about you is, in terms of poets at Sunday show, it was always a tricky one because I always felt with Sunday show, it was people were coming for the vibes and the hype. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So guys are coming because there's girls are coming because there's guys. There's a show going on, and if you're good, we'll watch you. If not, then people gonna go and get a drink, go cigarette or whatever in it. So then comedians, it was like, as a comic, you had to go on. Like, I think I was quite in like my early 20s then. So my angle back then used to be about raving. Yeah. That's how I could capture people. Yeah. I'd always use music and stuff. Man, them, you know what it's like when you go raving, and then funky house plays. DJ, run the funky house. Oof. Boom, I've got the attention in it. Musicians will go on and do music. But that would always be 50-50 because it's like, I don't really know my man still. Yeah. He's not big enough. So then poetry, I always felt was a harder way to go in because, you know, you got to get those clicks. And and it's not like an applause because the louder the clicks, the more attention you've got. Yeah. And I remember, so like James Messiah, he'd always be there doing poetry and stuff. So then when you came up and he was like, yeah, you know, I think, I don't know if you remember this, I think I came up to you. I was like, what's going on, brother? You all right? Yeah. And I think he's, yeah, cool. Because I'd always tried to say, like, whoever was going on, what's going on, bruv? Just to let you know, this person might be next in the issue.
Bro, my heart's beating faster just remembering that.
And you came with some of your friends, if I remember rightly.
I'm sure I did.
And you went by the name Shaolin. And you had the Sam's Chicken song.
Yes.
Yeah. And I remember you went on stage and I think I'd seen it on YouTube. Before you went, I think it could have been Taser or someone was like, yeah, he's from my bit still. He's from Northwest, innit? He's got this shop about Sam's, innit? Yeah. Already, because if you're from South London, there was always that Morley's better than South, which so mad. Like now is like that makes like no sense in it. Like it's chicken shop in it.
Like, shit, bro.
Yeah, but like at the time, because people wasn't really going out to other areas, it was almost like someone was saying Northwest was better than South, even though we're talking about chicken shops. Yeah. So then I remember like Taser, yeah, this guy's from South. You got this thing about Sam Chicken. I was like, yeah, I think I see that somewhere on YouTube. And then I remember you got on, and then you performed, and it was just like the audience were just like, yeah, I like this guy, yeah, because it was fun. It was fun, and it was like you wasn't take yourself too seriously, which at a time everyone was to get the room. Yeah. You take yourself seriously. Yo, what's going on? I'm a rapper by the name of Punch Man. You get me? Run the track, DJ. Like that was the kind of artist that was going on. Do you know what I mean?
That's what was happening in times.
Yeah. So the fact that you went on, done something, and it was about chicken shops, but you didn't take yourself too seriously. Like, I remember like you had some of your man them there as well, and I always like that because it's them early days where like your boys, like you'd have to go if your boys performing, bruv, I'm there, cuz. Yeah, man's there, cuz. All the man them are coming, innit? To support.
Of course.
It's not even like I'm going because it might kick off in this beef. You just needed your friends there to give you the claps, to give you the little extra laughter and stuff. And if I'm honest, it was definitely, because I remember you would come back and perform every so often and stuff like that and stuff. And it was always a really good time because at that time, that's why I say now, when you've got like these emerging artists and people now who are huge, and you're like, I remember when back in the day when he had a room of, and that is a hard audience back then as well.
Yo, that was the southest audience in all of the land. And what happened was, these times, like I said, I was transitioning. So there were two places that Sunday show happened in them times there. First, it was Strawberry Moons. Yes. First time I came and did the Sam song, it was in Strawberry Moons. Yeah. I remember I went to Uganda for the summer. Remember messaging Marvin on Facebook or whatever. Yeah. and then being like, yo, do you think I could come and, you know, like maybe do something a little more regular?
Yeah.
By the time I got back, Sunday show had moved to sound, different venue, and the mood had kind of changed a little bit.
100%.
It had a bit of a reputation now as like a spot for people to connect.
Had a big stage.
You know,
Do you remember the colourful thing on the back as well?
Yeah, cause So
yeah.
these were big things, and I was like, ooh, like I said, I was still transitioning.
Yeah.
Like, am I gonna be? How much of a rapper am I gonna be? How much of a joker am I gonna be? But I really want to get to this poetry though.
Yeah.
You get me?
Yeah.
Sunday show helped me because, like I said, the southest audience ever.
Yeah.
For a Northwest man, like with no track record, Sunday show challenged me to translate myself, just like Cambridge did at that time in my life. Because I was around a lot of upper middle class, predominantly white people that I was not used to having to explain myself to. I had to think, what aspects of my personality do I turn up and turn down? And how do I manage this stage?
Yeah.
And make sure they understand and respect the thing. And I watched you making them same calls every single show.
I was there every week, bruv. Like, I think for me doing Sunday show, it was definitely like at the time, because I was there every week just hosting and then trying material, like literally every week.
Yeah.
I used to write material, try at the show, then write. Like, I didn't know how comedy used to work.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, like, I was just like, you write new material every week.
Jogging.
I thought that's literally what you had to do. Every week, I must write. I have to. Because if I'm in my head, I'm like, if one person has seen it before, it needs to be new every week. And it was definitely like, it's literally like, it felt just like a training course. So,
but that gives you the advantage now. Sorry to cut you.
Oh yeah.
Because
of course.
a lot of, I remember when they first started locking people's phones up in shows, like I think Kevin Hart was the first person I noticed doing that.
Yeah.
And him explaining on Breakfast Club, yo, when the joke's out, it's out.
Yeah.
You know, the ones there. And then the rise of more social media personalities producing content for small screens. Like, all of these things shape how people consume the thing. But if, like I was saying to you just like an hour ago, where you've got the core asset in your ability to translate your perspective and the fact that the way you process information makes it funny and all of that practice in Sunday show, bro, you can adapt those core skills to any new platform, any new environment, any changes in the comedy scene over the next 10, 20 years. But a lot of people that only come out because of a new platform and because of a new wave, you're gonna find it hard. You're not on Mo's level yet.
It's very true. I think in terms of, it's so weird now with social media, and someone will say, "Oh man, you gotta be on TikTok, bruv. TikTok's a new thing, bruv. Your content, bang on there, innit?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, possibly, but I'm just like, for me, it's always live, innit? Like, people don't realize a lot of these ideas I have for stand up first, and then I try. Then I will just sit there. I'm like, that'd be quite funny if I just done a little video about that,
Right.
Like, and then that's how it adapts.
You can adapt.
And then I'll just chuck it on a video. Do you know what I mean?
Of course.
But I was gonna say, when you was doing like Sunday show and poetry, you was at Cambridge, because I remember hearing like you used to say that. You used to be like, yeah, you know, I go Cambridge, and that used to get a woo from the crowd.
Yeah.
I remember, and I remember you used to say, yeah, you know, I also like I started at Cambridge, which was at a time which was very like, you know, like Brunel, Hertfordshire was like the unis then.
That's what everyone was.
Do you know what I mean? Like, amongst like
in our community, ethnic
minorities and stuff. Like, I remember first going to Brunel. I think I went there for a comedy show I was performing at, and I was like, raw, because I was at uni those times myself, but I went to Brunel like, raw. This is like, it's like America, like, bruh.
Yeah. Like society,
I remember just being gassed that they had a spa. I think they had a spa or a Coscar. I said, bro, you got Coscar.
You got the hood. Yeah. Where's the Londis? Do you not have Londis in South, by the way?
Londis, yeah.
Londis, in SL's video.
Yeah, but I think that was what kind of blew my mind away a little bit. That I was like, this guy goes Cambridge. So how was it like? In terms of studying at Cambridge, what did you study, by the way?
Social political sciences.
So how was it studying what you were studying? But then it's almost, because I feel like a bit like in the in the day you're doing that.
Yeah.
Then at night you're going Sunday show with your boys. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so the early days of you in terms of growing, what was that like mixing your studies with then like, I'm going to go Sunday show and perform? Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
so for me, it was an extension of how my life had been for a while, for as long as I can remember. So, born and raised in Northwest, St. Raf's. St. Raf's, first of all, I'm in a Ugandan family on a very Jamaican estate. So there are cultural differences there. And a lot of the youths that we were growing up with, I'm not going to lie, had issues. Sorry to the man, you lot can't grudge me for saying that because you remember what we went through, innit? They had, so there was a lot of translation needed. I had to figure things out. Me and my brother had to figure things out for ourselves.
yeah.
And that was a journey of its own merit. Now, in school, I was always quite strong. And that was another form of translation, because it's like I'm in class with kids from St. Raf's, from Stonebridge, from Mitchellbrook. We didn't think of it as a hood environment because this is all we knew. But again, the skills that I'm tapping into to do well in class, the reading, the vocabulary, the reasoning, not necessarily valued. I wouldn't say they're not valued, but they're not common in the playground in the park where we are. So I kind of grew up as a nerd in the hood or a good kid in the hood.
Yeah.
Who constantly had to translate himself to different audiences. Then I get to secondary school. My secondary school was way out. Do people still say that? It was way out the ends, isn't it?
Yeah, my boy David says that still. Yeah.
It was my secondary school was like in a very suburban atmosphere with predominantly Indian kids, but also a lot of white kids, very middle class. And that's a whole new level of translation that I need to do. So I've been doing that like my whole life, and I still always had to come back to Raf's and still had to be able to politic, because in the weekends I'm navigating Northwest, and the problems between my hood and everyone else are only deepening with our generation. So when people start using knives, that's when, well, the elders before us, like there was a lot of gunplay among them as well. So there's all this like stuff that I had to figure out for myself from scratch without my parents knowing the level of politics that my big brother and I are facing.
Yeah.
Then I got little brothers that I need to make sure they have an easier time than I do. So I need to maintain these relationships so that so-and-so know that's my man's brother and my name means something. You know, I can't hide. I can't be a no one. I got to ensure that I'm out and I'm seen. And these times, it's so much to the story, but I'm also hustling. I was hustling clothes and I found different ways of hustling clothes. But that also like added another element of like connection, social mixing, and having to interpret and translate myself. Hella yardies. I started chilling with yardies a lot from I was like 15. And so all of these, so by the time I get to Sunday school, pick up Sunday school though. By the time I get to Sunday show, the fact that I'm coming from Cambridge in the day to here at night with South and bringing my guys through, in my deep down in my psyche, I just know that this is a pattern of my life. And I'm gonna have to continue it and get better at it. Is what it is, and I'm grateful. I'm glad that I did though.
Because I think especially at that time, that early time of going out there performing, it's such a shame because it's like you don't have those kind of shows now. And I always like would wish that like the new emerging talents now, like someone could start their own Sunday show now. Do you know what I mean? I always sit there, I'm like, come on, man, one of you guys has set up a thing and stuff. And I think it's back then it had to be done because there was no way of getting to perform on comedy shows. I didn't know how to book myself, but I was messaging like the big comedy store in Central. Hi, you're right. I've done 3 comedy gigs. Can I get a slot?
Just trying something.
Airtime, innit?
Yeah.
But it was these small shows that were saying, yeah, cool, man. Come, man, do your thing.
Exactly.
And that's why I say, like, it's such a, I won't say such a shame. I don't know if these shows are going on, but they're definitely not the height or the extent of what they was back then. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I never forget when I was at Sunday show and seeing MCs there. And because back then you'd see MC on radio, Channel
hear
U,
it more than you saw
YouTube on Westwood or something like that. So I never forget when I was there, I see Scorcher there 1 week. Yeah. He's with all these guys and stuff. And then he come the next week and he's like, you're funny still, bruv. Yeah, bruv. Listen, what are you drinking? I was like, what? Scorcher's buying me a drink. Oh my days, bro. I was like, rum and coke, please. Like, and it was to be able to mix with those people. But then this is, I think, which is weird now with me in terms of position I'm in of doing stand up, having TV shows and stuff. You get on these interviews and they're like, so you're like friends with like Stormzy? How do you know Stormzy, man? And it's so weird because you're just like, well, yeah, I just remember hosting a show and he performed at like Brixton Plan B when he was like really up and coming and he was kind of getting out there. And it's not even like to say like, you never want to be like, oh, we were best buds. But you'd be like, yeah, like you see tons of people back in the day. Do you know what I mean? So it wouldn't be the norm that that when, success happens, that these people say, yeah, what are you saying, bro? Man, you used to watch your thing back in the day still, jump off or whatever. And it's like a mutual thing. Yeah. And I've always found it funny when, especially with like the Big Nasty show, like I knew of Nasty before through, watching him online and stuff like that. And then how it happened with the Big Nasty show, they called me into Channel 4 and they said, like I was just doing the Cup of Cans tour, the Instagram stuff was doing well. And I was doing this small project with them anyway. Yeah. And they was like, oh, hi.
Channel 4 this is.
Yeah. And I didn't have a clue what this meeting was about. Most meetings, what the agenda's about. I didn't have a single clue, nor did my manager. And my manager, she'd been with me from the start, basically. So it's not like it was like, oh, you're doing well. Come on, man. I can take you places. So me and Polly go there. And then this woman, Saeed, just said, yeah, just love what you do. And we'd love to give you a show on Channel 4. Bruv, the first thing I said was like, oh shit. Because, bruv, I swear, if I could describe it, it felt like everything I had done in 10 years, literally in that moment, visually just went, there.
Straight.
Everything you wanted, someone's just giving it to you now. Yeah. Now the work begins a little bit. Like, comedy, I've always felt like I'm good at this. Like, I'll succeed in it because I feel like I'm good in it. It's the one thing I left school being like, I'm good at this thing, innit? So then and then they said in the same meeting, is like, we've got this project with Big Nasty as well. Would you want to be involved in that and stuff? And I was like, yeah, sure, man. So a week later, we had a meeting, met Nasty's lot. He's there with like Dice Productions. That's like his production label and company and stuff. And it's so funny because I'm at one end of the table, Nasty's at the other end of the table, and we'd never really met before, but obviously I knew who he was and stuff. I wasn't really too sure if he knew who I was. And I just had all these ideas in it. And I was like, yeah, but I think we should do this. And in meetings and ideas, I could never hold this idea in. It would stress me out. I always object to certain. I'm like, I don't think we should try that. We should maybe try like this because that works like that. And it was so funny because he's there with like his guys and stuff, and they're just gonna be like, who the fuck is this guy, bro? With all these ideas and stuff. But I think that was like, I guess you've had that. I don't know if you felt like this before in terms of, I think for me, just seeing it from the outside, I don't know if you ever had that kind of moment where everything just went, shum, like this is happening now.
A few times.
What was the first one you can remember?
Like, it's like in this season of my life, I'm having more of them. So it kind of overshadows the earlier ones. But I guess I would say, even when I was, all right, let me, before poetry and before the Sunday show, yeah. For me to get into Cambridge was like a moment like that, because for a couple of reasons. I wasn't the best in my class throughout most of my secondary school life because it was quite a competitive school. There were a lot of other high performing students who didn't get in Cambridge, and in my head, and I was like one of the few black youths in my year. So in my head, I had a bit of an inferiority complex. And every time I felt that inferiority, I was like, forget it, man. I'm going to be a famous rapper anyway, or something like that. I knew I was going to be an entertainer.
Yeah.
So I was so set on that when I found out that I got into this uni, I was like, oh, it's a rap. If I can make that make sense alongside this entertainer thing, then I can probably be a different kind of thing. I'll be a different proposition. My options are going to look different. What I'm going to be able to say to the hood is going to be different. And then I guess throughout my career, those moments where someone's saying to, so like it's funny because when I was messaging Marvin, like I said, from Uganda, these times I've got into Cambridge, but I ain't started yet. Was it? Whatever it was. I wasn't used to like performing regularly, and I just had this idea that I should have a regular show, a regular slot on Sunday show, and I just put it to him. Even when he said yes, that was a mini moment. Like, it was nowhere near on the level of what you just described. But it's like, oh, that's possible. All right, cool. Then I started getting commercial jobs. You know, TV starts calling, Sky Sports start calling, and every time they say to me, we just want, we want you to do what you do. We want a poem from you for us, though. It's like I have this like flashback moment of all of the work that I put in, not knowing what it was gonna amount to.
Yeah.
Being like, no, you can actually make something of this. So going back to these kids that you're talking about, like, who don't have shows that they're able to jump on, it's still early days for them. Do you get what I'm saying? Every generation has a unique way that they live.
Yeah.
And you got to remember, a lot of them are the first ones. You know, we say nowadays, the kids don't play out no more. It's more time, like Xbox Live, or they're communicating remotely, doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
A lot of these young influencers that on socials and that, they grew up like that. So they got to now figure it out for themselves, and whatever they figure out is going to be different. We were kind of like that, you know, like growing up as an MC for the first time, we had mics in our rooms and that, and laptops. That changed our behavior. That meant that when that studio to me was a motive, because there were no youth clubs. The youth clubs started to get closed down. Yeah. And where they used to perform a certain function, they used to bring people together. They used to expose us to like equipment that we could use to start doing our thing. As they started to disappear, social time started to go indoors, but we still made something out of that, because that's kind of how grime survived. Yeah. Sets, pirate radio. You see me? Like, if it wasn't for all of these external pressures forcing us to take certain options, I don't know who we would be.
You touched on youth clubs. I think for me, and I think, I don't know, I feel like because we're kind of like we're kind of same kind of age group and stuff, youth clubs for me was like the making of me a little bit. Which is why, like, with today's topic being youth clubs, it was definitely the making of me, because I'm not old enough to go out. I'm not 18 yet. But I'm not young enough that I want to stay in my house. School is finished, but I don't want to be on the roads. Yeah. So then this thing called youth club, which for me was the making of me in terms of, and when I say the making of me, I mean the making of me, which was in a social aspect. It's not school. So there's no one there to, you know, you got people, your youth workers that will say to you, "Hey, like, don't throw that." But at the same time, it wasn't school where if like people cussing each other or playing football and a man being like, "Come off, come off, bruv." Man's playing next, innit? I won't say now, in terms of with there being a decline in youth clubs and getting that, like, you know, sometimes you go youth club and I've seen things happen in youth clubs where I'm like, the making of some people and the breaking of some people. So what was your earliest like memory of like youth clubs?
All right, boom. In our end, shouts out to Ricky and the whole team. There was something called Brent Summer University. So we had a list of summertime courses for the holidays, that would get us into whatever lane we were interested in. Dance, DJing, singer-songwriter, rapper, fashion. There's a whole menu of stuff that you could do. And then you would go to these youth centers, which were more time, they were our spots anyway. It's where we used to, when we were kids, where we used to, where play scheme used to be. And then, like you said, as you move into like adolescence and you're too young to do certain things, you're not old enough for certain things, those spaces transform to offer us other kind of social events.
Yeah.
Brent Summer University just took control of man's whole summer holiday. And now what happens is you're meeting other people. So you're connecting with other ends, definitely meeting girls. These are big incentives to stay in an environment in which you're actually taking on a new skill.
Yeah.
And because you're doing it where you're still young enough, you're forming connections, which is important in my community, definitely in Northwest. You're forming connections outside of your estate, which come in handy later.
Yeah.
You get me?
100%. Yeah.
Will allow you to politic, will allow you to negotiate, to resolve conflict. If like these are the roles that I started taking on. Unfortunately, like I said, every generation has their unique circumstances. So our generation started dealing with a lot of problems from the roads, and they started influencing people's behavior. And that happened at the same time as the youth club started to disappear. So I literally watched the disintegration of our social space, brother. It's dread, but while they were there, they did something that nothing has ever. It was youth clubs, and when studios started popping up in the man's houses. Yeah, them things there definitely shaped me.
So in youth clubs, what was your role? What was you? Was you the? Because for me, when I was in youth clubs, I used to just love kicking ball. That was my thing. But then I was like, kind of like the funny one. Like I weren't the one who was about. I weren't really about fighting. I weren't really into music because, and I think you kind of like everyone. I think what I used to love about youth club. Also, big up to the play center, not play centers. Sorry, like you know, like the adventure playgrounds as well.
Okay,
it's kind of like an extension of youth club a little bit. I feel like everyone back in the day used to MC.
Yeah,
like them early days of like Eskimo.
Yeah,
everyone would spit bars. It was the thing, like, so yeah, I think my role, I kind of realized like, yeah, the music is not like, because I used to spit bars like, yeah, but can I get the mic? Man don't know about me, I'm ferocious and don't know me, expialidocious. I just weren't me in it.
Yeah.
So like for me, it was like I used to like playing. So our youth club used to have like a bit of like a 5-a-side team and stuff like that. But then that was me, like the funny guy essentially. So what was your role at youth in youth club?
My thing was probably, it's funny because before spitting, I was a singer.
Oh yeah,
singing ass motherfucker, man.
Yeah, sexual chocolate. Sexual chocolate. So what kind of music you used to sing?
R&B.
Oh yeah,
I love the R&B. I still love R&B, bro.
Yeah,
probably my first love music wise.
Yeah.
So, but it's because it's music. It's just the music. I didn't realize that's what it was. So R&B turned into rapping because I'd always loved rapping as well as any music. Them times that music wasn't as easy to get hands on.
Yeah.
So we valued it a lot more than we might do now.
This is like hard R&B days, Jodeci days.
So,
because you know, like when R&B went from like Boys to Men to Jodeci,
yeah,
and then like R&B singers were like a bit hood, like
yeah. That whole that little shift there.
Yeah.
So it was like I wasn't coming in on no hard thing though. I was coming in like drill. Then the hard R&B side started capturing my imagination when I discovered like TQ. Do you remember TQ?
Yeah.
West side till I die. All of that shit there, I was like,
yeah.
It didn't feel like gangster to me, but it was more, it sat better with my spirit. It's like, oh, he loves his hood. I know the feeling. Even at 8 years old, I was like, I fully understand where you're coming from, bro. So that became my whole thing. So I was very much into sweet boy R&B, passionate about my people R&B, and rap, just straight rap.
Yeah.
Rapping all the time. Me and my brother just love to learn lyrics. So like I was telling you before, didn't have any way of carrying the music with me. I didn't have a Walkman at the time. Took me a long time to get an MP3. So learning lyrics was a way that I could carry this music with me.
Yeah.
In the youth club, that was very much my thing. Like I loved the performance. And obviously I loved off girls as well. So that was, them two interests were always competing.
Yeah, yeah.
But eventually, like I said, our situation kind of changed, and you couldn't really be no singing ass motherfucker no more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you gotta make a decision. You gotta make a decision. You need to survive. You know what I'm saying? You need to be serious. I remember my friend actually having that discussion.
You know, I'm laughing because this reminds me of like So Solid days where, because So Solid was about the Audi TTs and the platinum chains.
So solid.
And like the names, there's a crew of these guys, bro.
Bare of them.
Like, like,
they all blacked out in the video. They got
like,
dogs
yeah,
in the
bro.
oh no, they're on the block.
And I remember just at 15, 16, just to be like, bro, if I MC, I gotta be bad in this
I need
thing,
to
man.
make some changes. We were getting these messages left, right, and center. And my area is just so gangster. You know, I felt like when I was younger, I was getting a pass. You're part of the community. You're a child. No one's really watching you like that. But what happened is the transition into secondary school now. Now you're in the same space as the man them.
Yeah.
And you become conscious of yourself as a representative of your estate. And just the insecurity of that period, puberty and that.
Yeah.
You have to, we felt pressure to, you know, approach manhood a bit more intentionally.
Yeah.
So, but then it was perfect for me youth club wise and socially because grime was taken off.
Yeah.
And grime was it. That's my girl now.
I remember early grime days going youth club and just seeing people like, because everyone wanted to be an MC. And, you know, you'd listen to it. We got a previous episode, so if you ain't listened to it, check that one out on the podcast where we talk about grime. And I think the really cool thing about when that sound came out, no one knew what it would be today. It was like, you had the guys who were like, you know, you had So Solid crew, Brit Awards, all
Number
in
one.
white. Then just below that, you had the guys who might have a track out. So this was like an underground tune. Now they got a tune out, like Wiley, for example. Like
more fire in that.
Yeah. So you had those guys. Then you had the guys on radio who didn't have a tune out, but they were lyricists, they were barrers. And then you had the guy in your local youth club who he's the guy.
Yeah.
There was always one guy in everyone youth club who's like, bruv, my man, give him the mic, give him the mic. And I think that's why I always like used to admire youth clubs, because if it weren't that guy that was like, he's the MC, it's the other guys. You know, my man plays for Chelsea on the 14th.
Yeah.
He's gonna make it.
That was the thing.
Yeah. Did you have anyone from your youth club or? Like,
yes, bro. I remember. So my little brother, 6 years younger than me, and these times I'm, you know, entering my teens. So me and all of my guys were his heroes at the time, innit? But we had there was one, shouts out to Debo, who was like head and shoulders above the rest. It didn't even make sense how good this guy was, bro. So what started to happen was obviously everyone's always clashing, everyone's always doing sets. And I remember my little brother asking me, yo, if you had to clash Debo, or if Debo sent for you, what would you do?
Yeah.
It's my little brother, innit? So I gotta make him know what time it is.
Yeah.
Like, if bro's not an idiot. But I remember telling him, yo, it doesn't matter who it is, blood. If Rod Hove himself could come down from Ross Clark, wherever he is. But I remember thinking to myself, bro, if Debo sends for man, I'm done out here. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Not literally, but I remember thinking, these guys are it. Like I can't think past how good this talent is. And it used to be in our local youth clubs that we used to link up, hone our craft. Not everyone always had access to studio. And sometimes, because we didn't have access to studio locally, we would have to go out the ends and take chances.
Yes.
Going in someone else's area, it's a gamble them times there. So I found it was such a, what's it called? Pressure valve. It was such a release when we were able to link up locally and go to our little spots for recording, because as far as I'm concerned, these men are it. Just like you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it always pressure to like also kind of like protect that person as well? Because like everyone kind of knew like he's the one who's gonna make it. Not like gonna make it, but like bruv, this guy, like it might be like, bruv, you know he's gonna go on Deja Vu, bruv, on Sunday.
Yeah.
Swear down. Everyone listens, but there was always like that pressure to like. But and when I say protect, just making sure that like, bruv, succeed.
Yeah, 100%.
You need to be our success story.
I remember when he first had a tune with Gets.
Yeah,
and we thought that's it.
Yeah,
the ends has gone clear.
Yeah,
in our minds it had, and that's all that mattered.
Yeah, of course.
That's all that mattered. That's the energy that we needed to keep going and channeling our energy in a positive direction or a productive direction. And there were so many moments like that where there's outside recognition. So we're in our little spot, our little community, keeping the thing bubbling. We might not have necessarily like as many connections, or we might not even know the path. But you see what we were doing? Everyone was doing that in their respective estate. Okay. Do you get me? So collectively, energy's building up without us necessarily realizing. So shouts out to East London, shouts out to Wiley and all of them pioneers, because that was aside from obviously So Solid and Roadside G's, you lot side of the river, it was East that was the template that we had to look to be like, you know what? That's how it can work. And then Tottenham started doing their thing as well. Yeah. Mad. It's mad. This is what I'm saying. All of this stuff really, really happened. And it really gave me a career, gave you material. It gave us a vision. Yet, I don't think it's as well understood or studied or even documented as it would need to be in order to like build them same benefits for today's young people. Yeah. If we didn't capture all, not us necessarily, but I mean government really, if they don't understand what we actually achieved against the odds, they won't necessarily understand the investment that needs to happen right now.
No, I think it's true. And I think that's why it's very important. Like, even with me, with the platform I have, and, you know, going into like whether I go into schools or prisons, and because that is essential to the growth of the next George the Poet, the next Mo Gilligan. Do you know what I mean? Weirdly enough, I spoke to like one of my old drama teachers recently, and she was just, and I remember just saying to her, because I'm like, we had this one guy who came to our school. He was like an actor, but I think I was just in maybe like year 9 or 10, and he was telling us about the industry, because in school, the person that made it from our school was Ashley Waters.
Oh, he's from your school?
Yeah, he was like the guy in terms, because we, don't get me wrong, we wasn't in the same year, but he was in So Solid, and you're like, what? What was he like, miss? And like, because we had the same teacher, do you know what was the maddest thing? I remember once I'd done a show, this was years ago, I was in Birmingham, innit? And you know, like my former teacher, Miss Simpson, she'd always go on about, oh, you know, Ashley, like one of my students, and so sorry, he's doing acting now. So he was like, I need to get to that level, innit?
Yeah.
Ashley Waters is the guy. I was in Birmingham. It's ain't even that long ago. It's mostly like, let's say like 5 years ago. Yeah. And I was in Birmingham and it was pissing down my brain. I go into my hotel and like there's some guys outside is having a cigarette and stuff. So I see Asher D there, innit? So I said, "Bruh, it's Asher D. Went to the same school. Like, what are the chances?"
You're saying this to him or?
No. This is what I'm thinking in my head. And I was like, and I've always idolized him, especially from Bullet Boy.
Yeah.
Because that same teacher took us to like a screening before it came out with loads of other colleges, which was so mad. It was so funny because there was only like maybe like 3-4 of us that went. Bare colleges.
Hello, man.
This is in Kilburn as well, isn't it?
Oh, what's this, tricycle?
I think, yeah, it must be. It might be that cinema, yeah. It's so funny. There's this one youth is behind us, like, Robert, there's bare faces I've never seen in there before. We get him moving, man. Yeah. But I remember seeing him, and then you're hearing about, what our teacher told us. And I went up to him. I was like, "Oh, what's going on, man? Ashley Waters, right?" And he was like, "Yeah, what going on, bruv?" And I was like, "Yeah, man. You went to my school. You know Miss Simpson?" And he's like, "Yeah, man, I know Miss Simpson. That's my teacher still, man." I was like, "Yeah, I went there as well." And he was like, "Cool, man." Well, nice meeting you, bruv. Fam.
Bro.
I sunk.
Bro. You didn't give him much to work with, did you?
Brother, because in my head, I was just like, I thought in my head, he'd be like, "You know Miss Simpson as well? Swear down. How do you know Miss Simpson?" Brother, I went in the lift. I was my key card in the thing. Man was like, "Why the fuck did I do that, man? Fuck that guy, man."
But you went out on a limb. You didn't, bro. You don't know what Miss Simpson meant to him. You don't know. But the thing is, she gave him mad attention.
Do you know what the funniest thing is?
Dragging up all these memories for no reason, bro.
The thing is, yeah, as well with him is like, I know, but he was like for Miss Simpson, and like he was like the pinnacle. So he'd sometimes go back and visit and stuff. So it was just that thing of like, yeah, bro, like we got the same drama teacher. That was like the thing, innit? Yeah. And I remember just like, "Mo, why did you do that, man? why, bro? You shouldn't have said anything." Like, and then I remember this was like fast forward now, maybe like 3 years. So I was doing this thing called Drunk Histories. So they get a bunch of comedians and they recreate history. So they don't recreate. You get a comedian, he drinks a lot of alcohol and then he has to tell a famous historic tale. But the fact is that he's drunk. They get them really drunk. And then they have actors that will act out what he's saying and we dub over the words and stuff. So I'm on set and this is like most of the second time I'd been on like a proper set and as main cast. So I'm on this set, and it was like Ashley Waters was on the one in the cast, innit? So I was like, "Oh, bro, Ashley D's in this, yeah? Swear down." So then I'm in I didn't even have a character name because we was recreating Charles I. So we're all in these Victorian clothes, and I'm like peasant number 1, and then someone else peasant number 2. He's playing Charles I, innit? So I'm there, morning. You know what it's like when you're on sets and you got the little truck. Yeah. "You all right, mate? You want a bacon sandwich?" You're like, "Yeah, you can get a little bacon sandwich." Anyway, I'm there. I turn around. I see my man in his Charles I thing. He looked sick, bruv. Like, man had some cloak on. He walked through and I was like, "Right, that's Asher D still." But you could imagine, the last time I spoke to him, I tried to do the Miss Simpson thing, innit? So I was like, okay, let's have a different approach. So this was like early days of when I was doing some of the videos, like the more like when I done like the different types of MCs. When I was doing those kind of videos.
One of my favorite videos, by the way.
Oh, big ups, bruv. So then we're filming and we're in this room. They're like, "Oh, guys, just wait in this room, guys. We're just gonna quickly set up." So I'm sitting there, talking to this one other actor, and then I don't know how we got there, but I was like, yeah, man. Yeah, I used to go Pimlico, yeah. Because he's obviously doesn't know who I am. He's forgot me from the time he met me in Birmingham, innit? So I was like, yeah. I used to go Pimlico school with this other guy. And then I see my man. He was like, You in Pimlico? I was like, yeah. Yeah, so yeah, man. And he goes, you know, Miss Simpson. Miss Simpson? Yeah, that's my drama teacher. Yeah. Anyway, as I was saying, man,
Fake ass motherfucker.
Bro, it was just so funny because he was just like, oh, swear down, yeah. And in my head, I was like, you don't know that I've met you before, do you, bro?
And I've tried the same pitch.
But what it was, because it was like, he had seen some of the videos and stuff.
Okay.
At
There's
that
more
time.
context. It's more relevant now.
Yeah, but he only knew me as like, you're the guy who does the video.
Yeah.
Not from meeting me before in Birmingham, innit? But it was so funny when I was talking to this other guy and he was like, oh, swear down. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, man. Yeah, cool,
Yo,
man, yeah.
imagine Miss Simpson's drama class came in handy because your acting was on point that day. Man.
Oh, bro, it was so funny. I remember just leaving just like, man, looks like the universe has evened itself out now, guys.
You straightened that shit out. That's funny, bro. Oh.
So in terms of youth clubs, yeah, did you ever do like youth club trips? Because I think I first started like, because you don't realize, when you're a youth club, yeah. Not youth, sorry, when you're like at that age, like let's say like 14, 16, you don't leave your area unless you're going to visit family or for whatever reason, you don't. It's until you go on a youth club trip. Like, did you ever do the youth club trips?
100%, man.
What one did you do? And there's one that every youth club, they always go on one of these trips.
I remember the earlier trips in these. Remember I said the spaces changed according to like the age range that we was in. But I remember the earlier ones, we were younger, went camping, yeah.
Ah, that's the one. Every youth club goes camping, bruv. Just some black kids in Derby, bruv.
Bro, it was the hoodest kids in the world. In the woods.
In my head, I was like, please say camping. Please say camping, bruv. You know, rock climbing, innit?
Bro. Yo,
I'm sailing.
I wish I was more the comedian telling you these stories, because some of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life happened when you tried to get these kids out of the hood into the camping. First of all, big up the people that put that together.
Yeah.
It was a family that ran our local youth club, innit?
Yeah.
And they just made it happen. Secondly, oh my days, you can take the youths out the hood. But what you cannot do, under any circumstances, you cannot take the hood out the youths. So, like, first of all, I don't think we were mentally prepared for what we were about to do, innit? And like you said, we didn't move out the ends that much.
That's Siri.
I was trying to talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
We didn't move out the ends that much.
Yeah.
So this is all new for us. I remember on the way there, like I said, a lot of the youths on my estate were quite, it was just hood, innit? So all of the banter, first of all, was abusive. We were all just abusing each other on the way there, yeah?
Yeah. That's like one of the best bits.
That's, bro.
Yeah, when you're in the car, you got your little packed lunch.
You understand?
And then you're just in the
Which
minibus.
you're gassed about. No,
Gassed, bro.
It's the...
Sitting at the back. Yo.
Please. And I remember my brother got it in the neck. God bless him, yeah? Like I said, abusive, just bare banter back and forth. And he had these crepes that just, for some reason, yeah, they were shaped, like they just went like that. They shaped, the sole went a little bit upwards, and the top bit, the tongue and that went like that, yeah?
Yeah.
I remember when you just shutting him down quickly. Shut up, Freddie. With your speedboat trainers. Oh, Daniel Walker. Oh. It was so funny, bro. And he, like I said, it was a family that ran the youth club. It was a family that ran the youth club, innit? He was one of the kids of the family, innit? It's like, there's no escape. Like, they had such a sense, them kids had such a sense of entitlement.
Yeah.
And like authority. It's like, even when, you know, like, even when your ego is bruised and they really got that, they hurt, man. There was no escape. They were everywhere. Their parents ran the whole thing, innit? So we get there now, and immediately, I think like everyone's trying to prove that they're independent, but we're kids, B. We have no idea what we're doing, innit? So, you know, like, we're engaging with girls from other areas who are not from our kind of area.
Totally different areas as well.
Looking back, we might have been the first black people they ever met.
Yeah.
And that was all exciting though. Like, that was the early social mixing that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
You understand? That was our exposure. Obviously, we were trying to front on each other. The older kids, you know, always getting onto us. But looking back, it's like, yeah, we were all adapting. Everyone was outside of their comfort zone. As much as they tried to front.
Bruv. Yeah. Everyone was.
Sleeping in the woods, B.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's a leveler.
Was you lot doing the tents? Was it tents?
Tents.
Yeah.
And it was tense.
Yeah. I remember we went away and we were so excited because I think it was 6 weeks and we had just spent like 3 weeks messing around, and then we're like, this 4th week we're all going on this trip, and it's like, you know, your mum say to you like, just be good, sign the form, got to give the form to whatever. Did you ever have that guy, yeah? And it was always so funny where you got all these kids from the streets that are just like, they're all like camping for the first time, and it was always like, the youth worker that was just like the, you know, that kind of like, he was a lovely like guy, but he was always like that kind of like straight to the point, like white guy. All right, guys,
just trying,
guys. You can't be chasing the chickens, man.
Donnell, put it down, right? Not gonna tell you again. And he's like, head out of his depth. Donnell's a bad breed. Shut up. Can't tell me nothing. Shut up. I'm bad, sir. Can't tell me nothing.
Someone always just leaves as well. Like, now I'm going, bruv. I'm going home, bruv. So, like, bruv, you got £3, bruv.
You have no means.
Where are you going?
You can't do nothing.
Nah, I don't care. You can't tell me nothing. I think the funniest thing is around that time, I remember we had to learn how to put up a tent. So this guy was like, this is when we got to the campsite. He's like, so you guys are going to put up a tent? You want to get this there? The confusion of seeing us lot just all there, just like, I don't know what to do, bruv. This is long, bruv. I thought the tents were, because we always picture it how we'd always see it in the films.
Yeah, or the cartoons and that.
The big tent, like, it's all, you know, the tent was got the zip thing.
Just
like
pattern, you get me?
Yeah.
Little house.
And then instead we get there, I'm like, what is this it?
Yeah.
This is a small tent.
Honest.
And it was so
wet
funny.
ground.
Yeah, you had kids just like, you get kids that's in tracksuits and a raincoat. And it will be cold.
I'm not doing it.
And wet. Like, and he always had the same activities like abseiling down a rock or something.
Zip lining and them things there. Remember the zip line?
Yo! Zip lining, you know?
If you're lucky, you might get one arcade.
Towards the end.
Yeah, that was
when no one's got any money.
Breath of fresh air. That same 10p. Everyone's using their 10p on that same 10p machine. Nothing's dropping though.
The thing, yeah. You put your money in. How much you in? And you get all these tokens. How much you get?
Draw out.
I got enough for a lollipop still. Ain't got no more money left. I think that was the cool thing of like being a kid and going, especially when you used to go to like youth clubs. You'd go youth club, and it was that thing of like, in hindsight, you wasn't really that far from London.
Yeah,
you was only like maybe like as far as like Cambridge or Milton Keynes or something like that.
Gone a bit north.
I think the furthest we went to like Derby. A lot of kids would just go Wales. Like, yeah, we're going to some farm in Wales, like. And I always like, it was such a fun time because you are doing activities you would never get the chance to do where you grew up. Yeah. There's no way, like for example, we go cycling, but there's different cycling to how it was for us in the ends. Like,
that's the
we
funny
just go in
thing.
shops.
A lot of the things that we're doing technically could be done in the ends.
Yeah.
In my ends, we had a lot of green. Wouldn't be a stretch to set up a couple tents and that. But mentally, you ain't getting us to do that.
No.
Right there.
In
I could just go to my yard and play PlayStation. I'm not doing that, bro. I'm not doing that. I'm gonna get my bike. You know when I had that bike in it? Like, your bike's like your safety net.
That's your vehicle, boy.
But if anything,
yes,
I'm God in it. So it wouldn't have been possible to get us in the headspace to really embrace it as a new experience. But that's what I'm saying, man. Because of the youth club, because we understood this is a space where we're supposed to be trying to do something constructive and there's a community feel to it. Like I said, R1 was run by a local family. And it's so funny because that family, looking back now, lived in an estate that we later went on to have problems with. Same estate that man went primary school in. But later on in my life, like I was saying, being able to mix with them guys when I was young gave me a grounding, gave me like a negotiating position later on where, you know, you meet man and a lot has changed. But I remember when you thrashed out because you couldn't put the tent up.
Yeah,
you get me?
yeah.
I know you different.
Yeah. Do you ever think, did this ever happen in your youth club where, because there was always a guy who was a youth worker who was like, he's like one of the olders, but now he's a youth worker.
Yeah.
And like,
he's not having it.
He's not having it. And sometimes, you know, like not like one of the youngers would move, like, but you know, like when he's like, shut up, I don't care, bruv. What? You know, like, do you remember this being 14 and you just think, I can fight the world, bruv.
Yeah.
I'll fight this guy, bruv.
You think your temper.
Yeah. Because you're crying and you're angry.
You'll get mad. How many times did you see Josh and Daniel and them man? No, bro. No, he cussed my dead grand. You get me on that talk. But that youth worker right there, I swear, I don't know what life would have been without my man, because we needed him, to be honest. Looking back now, some of them man there, obviously, whatever their past was their past. But they had gone through a journey of trying other things and deciding that, you know what? The best thing for me to do with my life is just try and show these youths what I'm going.
Yeah.
But the way that they went about it,
it
was just, priceless, brother.
I think the funniest thing was because you always had like the straight, well-to-do white guy who was just like, all right, guys, come on, everyone quiet down. Hey, man, all right.
I'm going to count to 3.
Yeah. All right, well, no one's going to play pool then. I'm taking the white ball, no one's playing.
That's it. Sorry.
No. You know, kids, I don't care, bro. We don't even need a white ball, bro. Just put the balls, bro. I don't care. Now I'm next. Told this guy I'm next, innit?
I'm just catching the balls, bro. Yeah.
You know, like, it's, you know what was mad? Like, because, so sorry, you had that guy. Then you had the guy who was like, he was from your ends, innit?
Yeah.
And he was like, like, working at youth club now, innit? But I always find it weird because it was like, you seen him as the same guy you always knew him as. So the minute he started to be like, hey, you've lost, so you need to come off the table tennis. He's next. I'm not telling you again. If I tell you again, you're coming out, bruv.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, that man, you changed, bruv.
My man.
Like, like you had to take the order, but you're like, that, bruv.
You
like,
be safe, man.
Yeah.
And looking back now, it's crazy because the man there was younger than I am now. You know, like a lot of them, looking back when I was younger, let's say they were in their early 20s, or maybe like approaching their mid 20s. And I'm like, right, they were really figuring things out themselves.
Yeah.
But I took to them as authority figures because, you know, again, like, I know you. I actually know you. And it's like, that's a very powerful connection to be able to have. That's why he would have a certain influence over you that my man from a different walk of life, you run him, like, you know the ones there. But with with this other guy, it's a bit more like your uncle or your brother. You know, You want to be cool with him.
I always thought in youth clubs, I don't know if you felt this, there was a lot of built up. Sometimes it was a release, and sometimes you could see it would build up and it would let out where fights would happen and kick off.
Yeah.
And it's always, and that's the thing, because you are escaping your, you know, I have some stuff going on at home.
Yeah. It looks like
stuff going on at school.
It looks like they're fighting over the five-a-side or the table.
It's more than just them, because I beat him at pool and he's not coming off.
It's more.
It's that built up. And you used to see it with everyone. Everyone had a moment in secondary, in the youth club where, like, it's just built up. It's like a pressure cooker almost. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did you ever have one of those moments?
Yeah, man. Like, I remember. But you know what? To be honest, that stuff started to become a little more frequent towards my mid-teens, for me, started having little, because I had altercations which changed me as a person. Going back to the transition out of being that singer,
yeah. Likewise,
into the MC.
Yeah,
like them altercations gave me, created new extremes in my behavior. So if I felt threatened or if I felt frustrated, like I might act out in a way that was bigger than what I felt like I was really capable of. Like I want to fight 5 man. Only because I remember what happened last time.
Okay.
Do you get me?
Yeah.
And if I don't, it's not really, it wasn't really calculated, like, let me go too far so that they don't know what I'm on. Looking back now, that's the mind game that you're playing. But really and truly, it's like, no, I never got no counselling after what happened, didn't it?
Yeah.
Did you get me?
Yeah, it just happened. They sat you down. Listen, if you do this again, you can't come here. Or you might get banned for 1 week. That was the most that would kind of happen. You might have, like, I think the beautiful thing is there were some people when you used to go youth club that could spot some of those early signs of like you lashing out and stuff, and really be able to like sit you down and talk to you and say, hey man, like, is everything all right, kind of thing. Like, and it, not to say that they done it with everyone, but they might just be like, look, calm down, why are you doing that for? Like, normally when you come here, like, you just kick ball and stuff. What's all this about? And I think especially like growing up, it's really the making of you.
Yeah.
Which was always different, because on the previous podcast we spoke about primary school and how you go from primary school to secondary school, but you don't finally evolve until you're in college, because you don't have the structure anymore.
Yeah.
So you're not, the structure is gone. But then you get glimpses of that if you kind of grew up going through like that youth club era where this is from 7:30 till 9:30. And that was my first taste of my mum saying like, cool, when youth club finish at 9:30, I want you in at 10 on a Friday. This is my chance to be like, you know what? Might stay to 11 with them. Like, guys that's on the roads. Like, I remember once there used to be a little corner shop. The guys done like a snatch and grab, innit? Everyone was running the shop.
Everyone.
Stealing stuff. And I was like, this isn't, like, I know this is wrong, but it's the influence you get from being in the youth club. If this was after school, I was like, I ain't doing that. Yeah. No, we got to go to this corner shop the next day. Likelihood we're going to get caught. Because it's youth club now, I've got, it's a little taste. Do you know, maybe I might do a snatch and grab. Like, but then knowing deep down, I'm like, nah, not about that, bruv.
And it's weird, because these are the decisions man started to make, again, more towards my mid-teens, when the youth club started really disappearing. That's when I remember my friends started, we used to call it going on eats. I don't know what you lot called it.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah. Just robbing people.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, everyone needs a bit more pocket money, or would like a bit more pocket money. Whether or not you need is another question. But also it's like, there's just nothing for us to do now. There's nowhere for us to be socially. And another thing I realized when you were talking is that a lot of these youth clubs were actually either one person or a group of people who cared about us, just trying to use another space for something for us. So I had that in my basketball coach. To this day, I still call him coach. He became a mentor and a friend to me, But he used the local sports center to set up that basketball practice around the same hours that you just described, like say 6:30 to 8:30. And it became so much more than just ball. You get me? It became order. It became consistency, stability, life lessons. He's checking in on your studies. He wants to understand how your character's developing. The reason he's on you is because he wants you to use your reasoning capacity better. And that was now around, 14 for me. Outside of that, it was spitting. And I'm just thinking to myself, spitting is the space where, like you said, that transition to college. Now you gotta figure it out.
You
know what I'm saying? Coach ain't here. and we'd find ourselves in all sorts of situations. Like I said, I remember one time, again, there was a local youth centre, Bridge Park, that we used to use for studio because it was the only place that had a mic, local, yeah? When that wasn't as available, somehow we ended up kind of far out the ends in Hornsey. And the studio that we went to, there was just a bag of man. We'd never been there before. And I remember saying to the man them, nah, this don't feel right. But we were so desperate for studio that we just had to hang around in that environment.
Yeah.
I actually, because again, the trauma of things that I'd been through, I put in place like a plan B in case things went left. But that plan B would have like definitely got me in jail.
Yeah.
I definitely would have just been sitting and felting for a minute if I had to follow through with that plan. Way more than a minute. Yeah, it just never happened to materialize. The worst of what I was imagining never came to pass, yeah. Come to find out a few days later, it was 100% a setup. But the way, the energy that developed, the rapport that developed between us and all of them man in the room who were from ends that we'd never been to before, it just was so positive. We ended up clashing. Again, you see how these little activities that we come up with create social space for us to, you know what I'm saying, get things off our chest and build new connections. Yeah, man. And it would have been a lot safer, a lot more controllable, containable if it happened in a youth club with supervision. But let me ask you this now, yeah? I feel like with the removal of these spaces, like I said, every generation, unique circumstances. So the young people coming up without youth clubs that don't have the opportunity to socialize in that way, supervised with different ends, there hasn't been as much opportunity for them to learn how to like make peace and share with people that they don't know. Is it, if we woke up tomorrow and 1,000 new youth clubs across the hood just sprang up, do you think young people of today in the age range that we were talking about would be able to make use of those spaces and keep the peace?
It's a tough one because what you were saying, you were forced to. So if we want to play football against another youth club, we just want to kick ball. So we'd have to go to the youth club in the minibus and go there and play and then come back. Or it's like you're saying, if you want to use the computer to, I don't know, you want to download some tunes on the internet because no one had internet in the house. You kind of had to. So going back to your question, it's a tough one because you don't know how I think a lot of the young people now, it's what they see and what they want. So a lot of them being like, yeah, boy, man wants to get a little rolly and that, you get me?
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel that, and I'm not saying if they went youth club, they wouldn't have that feeling, but they most feel like, well, how's it going to get me the rolly? How's it going to get me, like, get the tunes banging and that? Like, what's this
Clout.
youth club going to do?
Where's the clout?
Do you know what I mean? Because they haven't been, like, youth club was just like, my sisters before me went youth club. So when, like, Adventure Playground finished, you just went youth club as default. So it's like what you're saying, if it just sprang up like that, then it was like, in my head, I'm thinking like, if there's like a chain of some company that said, oh, we're going to do youth clubs. You think, it's a good question, because you think, well, I don't know if they would, because then they'd be like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think definitely it would definitely, in terms of helping people tune into their talent, you'd get a lot more people who, I want to learn how to produce music. Because, you know, you've got YouTube for that nowadays. I go on YouTube, learn how to do this. I buy Logic or whatever program you use, GarageBand or whatever, and then I can learn how to kind of make beats. Not even learn, but most people get a keyboard, do the
Figure it
basics.
out.
I think when it comes to things like that, you have that anyway. You just learn how to put it together.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? How can cool, that's how I can loop it and stuff like that. Most of that stuff, like that was a beautiful thing about Youth Club is people who wanted to make beats or be a DJ were already good at this anyway. They was using the decks at Adventure Playground or something like that. So when they had the actual setup, they just got better at it. So I think it's like, if we did introduce youth clubs now, we'd get a bunch of young people who are good at stuff that we can make them better. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then going back to the question, will it change a lot of stuff that's going on right now? I don't know. Because I don't feel like it's like, I don't feel like young people are like, because there's no youth clubs, that's why.
Yeah, I don't think they have that.
Do you know what I mean? And I think that used to feel like it was the answer for a little while.
People always
we need the youth
in
clubs, man.
That was always the go-to response.
Do you know why though? I think because for us, we knew how positive the youth club was for us. So when you started seeing like a lot of the bad stuff that was going on, you'd then be like, it must be youth clubs. Yeah. But then you think now and you digest it and you'd be like, well, if these youths are on the road making money, then what's the youth club gonna do? Do you know what I mean? Like they'd be like, I'm fucking going there. I'm on the road making X amount of P's. You know what I'm saying? Like
remember what I said, like how some of the youth clubs were just individuals who wanted the best for us and made a creative use of an existing space, like a sports center. I strongly feel like if there was to be a company to run, I think about this all the time. What would a chain of youth clubs be like? It has to be run intelligently. It can't just be a random space with people that hope for the best. You gotta really research the communities and this is the problem. What I was saying earlier about all the things that we did and how no one really studied it. I think it's taken for granted that people in maybe more working class communities ain't got as much of a plan for their life. So because of that, no one studies these communities. No one thinks to themselves how every generation, the black community, the young urban working class community, every generation since the 70s has come up with a new sound. In the 70s, our parents' generation, there was two-tone. Yeah? The man then brought sounds from Jamaica over here.
The sound system sound.
Yep. The sound system culture, skinhead thing, mix it. Ska. It's now become ska. Yeah. Ska revival. A little while later, you got jungle, you got garage, grime, rap, drill. These youths will not run out of ideas. And we can predict that for the next generation reliably. We know that they're also going to come up with drip. There's going to be a new fashion that comes exclusively from this community. Bro, earlier today, like on the way to my meeting, I see like bare young white boys that were like biking.
Oh yeah.
And it made me smile because they were all dressed like us, and they were all talking like how we did in the black community.
And it's like they go like on the mountain bikes.
Yeah, on the mountain bikes.
Yeah.
That was definitely, I'm not saying they got it from us necessarily, but they definitely get some of their cultural influence from us. So it's like, if we know that there's this cultural output from our community, how can we manage that? And how can we, if the youths them are really like into making money now, and there's all of this talk about bust down and the images of their favorite rappers who are from communities like theirs are increasingly like centered around the man them's wealth. Cool. Maybe that's not all negative. How can we harness that to really stimulate the right energy and nurture the right habits and practices and interests among these young people? But you can't do that just by opening up a space anymore. Yeah, it definitely goes back to what you're saying in terms of massively with youth clubs. Like, I'm just thinking back of like those youth clubs were put on by people who cared about our well-being and had done it for years as well. Yeah. And it's like big up Tony, who was like, he used to run like the youth club I used to go to, which was in Coppleston Church.
And that's like my sisters and that would go there, and then like his son. I know his son does music now. I still kind of chat to him a bit, but it's like you're saying, it is those people who cared about the community who would say, "Bruh, these lot like playing football. Let me enter them in this tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, like there's a tournament. You lot on a Saturday XYZ."
Mm-hmm.
And there was a few other guys that were MCing, and they were the guys. This is when I was saying, you know, when there was like people who's gonna make it. They were the guys back in the day, and these two guys, and they were twins, yeah, and they would go back to back, and they were sick, like, and this was at a time where like, one, it's sick that you're an MC and you can spit bars, but you're twins and you go back to back.
You mean there's two of you?
Yeah, and I never forget, and it was like, it's always those moments you remember, especially around those youth club times, where I think he introduced him to someone who's like, oh, look, I know this guy who knows someone in So Solid or something like that. And then, yeah, lo and behold, they met, I guess they met Mega Man and the rest of the guys. Then they got like inducted into So Solid crew. And that...
Oh, the twins of So Solid.
Twin MCs, yeah. Yeah, they used to go to my youth club. Yeah.
And look at that. I just know them by...
Yeah.
You know?
And the maddest thing is, I never forget, they came... Like, I remember we was just like around the estate and stuff. And then they came, I think Adidas gave them some clothes. You know, like when that kind of like Adidas velour tracksuit kind of phase, Missy Elliott kind of days. So they came back to the ends and they both had matching tracksuits with superstars. And it was just the epitome of like, rah.
Yeah, you made it.
You man made it, bruv. Like,
clear.
And the old, because you know, you got the olders before them that are just like, yeah, man, like I knew you, man, would make it and be sick and stuff.
Right.
And I think that was the beautiful thing about youth clubs, is that you had people like Tony who would see something in someone and say, yeah, like I'll vouch for you.
Now,
like, I'll introduce you to some people.
Now, this is what kind of weighs on my heart. First of all, where's the system? Because I don't want to, we all have stories like that from the community, about someone who did something right. You've become that story for a lot of your community. People talk about me in a similar way. So this is what kind of bothers me, that we all have stories about people that had one-off success, and we know how hard we work for that success, and it's not necessarily overnight, and it's not by chance. But then there's a whole unit, there's a whole network of people. You know, they say it takes a village to raise a child. There's a whole network of people that contributed to you being able to do what you've done. And there's no system to take care of those people. It relies on Mo being a good person and George being a good person and making sure that he's connected with the soil and he's reinvesting what he can in there. But it's like, now there's something, it shouldn't just all be on your shoulders as an individual to see what you can do for Tony, for me to see what I can do for my peoples. It should be like, no, anytime I know there's going to be another comedian out the ends, I know there's going to be another musical talent out the ends, there should be a system of capturing them when their potential is bubbling, especially when their lives could go either way. They might pursue it, they might just not be bothered. We should have a system of getting them involved and ensuring that we are behind them as far as we can go. Bro, it's my ends that raised me beyond what obviously my parents put in place. Bang FM, Bang Education, Bigger Fish.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like I said, Bridge Park, all of these youth centers and Brent Summer University, all these youth-led spaces enabled me to now have a whole career where I'm broadcasting to a lot of people and I'm influencing a lot of people. That generates all sorts of activity across the economy. So how do we loop that back into the community and make sure that it's not just a one-off? Because I know the talent is still there. That's all I think about these days, I'll be honest. It's all I've ever thought about.
Yeah. I think it's I think there's so many people that have always had that idea of having like a chain of youth clubs. But I think that's like what youth club isn't about. It's not about chains and big businesses running youth club like it's a school. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
It's someone doing it from the kindness of their heart for the community and having success stories that come out of it. and being like, yeah, man, he's, you know, my man used to kick ball here, you know.
Yeah.
Rio Ferdinand used to come to the playground like you, man, and
that guy.
XYZ. You know what I mean? As it like having like chains is most probably like the last thing possible you'd want.
Unless it was like a franchise system. Is that what it's called? Franchise?
I know what you mean. Yeah. So you mean like if there was some kind of system, but then people can take it up upon themselves
it's
to
your
make
local thing.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
TEDx.
Yeah.
But again, that now takes commitment. It would either have like funding commitment. I don't know if the government would ever. This government, I'm not too sure about like what they're thinking is about investment in that sense. But it could even be from a big company that isn't necessarily from, you know, the soil. It's not really from our world, but can connect with. It could be ex-teachers. It could be parents with time on their hands, stay-home parents maybe. You know what I'm saying? Get into those spaces. You have to be connected to your community. You have to have some, obviously, CRBs and level of child safety, duty of care and all that. And just keep them in position to continue to support these young people. That might work. Or my genuine belief is that it's going to come from entertainment.
Yeah.
The real changes in our community are going to come from our generation of people who, thanks to the sacrifices and the work of the generations before us, we're now seeing the commercial side of things.
Yeah.
In a way that we and you had this conversation at Conan's birthday. I don't know if you remember.
Conan's birthday.
It was a nice day.
Yeah, that was what, a year ago.
It was like half
2 years ago. Yeah.
It wasn't that long ago, bro.
Was that in Piccadilly?
Nah, it was just recently, man. It was a rooftop thing.
Oh yeah, the rooftop thing. Yeah. So I'm thinking of something different. Yeah.
And I was saying to you how you're the new someone. I said someone. I don't want to put that person's name out there like they flopped.
Yeah.
But you're the guy for our generation who occupied that space on TV and is funny and is cool. Like young, as a young man, especially young black man in a certain environment, you could look at Mo and be like, "That's what I want. I don't want this gangster stuff. I don't want to be a nobody. I want to definitely be known and respected, but positive."
Yeah,
you're that. Okay, I was saying that to you at my man's birthday.
I remember.
And we had a conversation about the commercial side of things and how us having learned the lessons, some of the failures of the generations before us, we're now able to maneuver on a business level in a way that will ensure longevity. If there's a network of us going, like I said, every generation has a unique circumstances. Like you said, me and you are in a similar age range. If we go through our 30s like this, and then our 40s, and so on, and we continue to solidify what we build, we consolidate the gains, we don't lose the money, and we remember where we're from, we will be able to fund this kind of scheme. Like I'm saying, a line of youth centers that are connected to the people in the community that make the most of the talent that is going to definitely come from that community. Yeah,
of course.
Me personally, I'm not waiting for government, bro.
Yeah.
It's going to be us.
Yeah, no, and it always normally is as well.
Facts.
And you see that like nowadays you got people, even like when it's like small moves, Crep and Conan's making their own restaurant, Stormzy with Murky Books and stuff. Ridiculous. It's these small things that give other people like, rah.
Yeah, I did.
So what, these men do music and they're entrepreneurs, but he's getting into books do you know what I love about it is when there's most probably like someone high in establishment of like, books? What does he do? What does he know about books?
He's not allowed that.
And that's what I love the most because I'm like, but why should he though? Yeah. Why should he?
Yeah.
Like, companies have been doing that for years.
The people who started the biggest publishers, they were no more and no less human than we are.
Yeah, of course.
So why are we going to sit here and convince ourselves that there's anything we can't do?
George, honestly, man, it's been a real pleasure to have you on the pod, man. Just like even like I haven't seen it. What was the last? It was like Conan's thing, really.
Yeah.
You've been always like massively supportive of like what I've done. You've always said that as well which I've always appreciated. Because sometimes, like, it's hard. I don't want to say it's hard, but like, not everyone tells you, like, bro, like, you're doing well.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
I hear
in
that.
certain spaces, and it always like has meant a lot and stuff. And like, that's why I've always said, like, boom, if you want to come to the show, you bring your family, or you came with like your friend last time and stuff like that and whatnot. And it's just a credit to what you've done, because you've kind of, you know, you've done it your way, from like watching TV and then being like, raw, George is doing a Formula One, the intro, George, the poet, like that. I remember when that first happened, that spun my mind, bro, because I would in and out kind of watch F1 a bit.
Okay.
And then it come on, and it was like I can't remember what you're saying, but it's like, and they exhaust of the fumes, and then they go into the. I said, bro, blood. That's George, you know, from Sunday show. Like, and it was just like, but it made it feel that it's like, right, it's possible. And I think for me, it's like, I've always got my influence from music a lot. I've always been massively influenced by music. I watch comedy because I just like to laugh, but I don't really study comedy. I study music more, sounds, different production, like producers, how people put stuff together, which for me, I didn't take that and turn that into comedy a little bit. How do I tell my joke like that? Because rare tear tear, or like, even when sometimes I listen to music and I'm like, oh, that's sick, how my man's got the trumpet in. Or recently, a friend of mine, that's like, even with the Netflix thing, that's why I thought, I want to get a band in there, put a bit of music in. But a friend of mine who helped me compose the tracks, you know, we're at his studio and he's like, we need live trumpet. I'm like, nah, bro, you can just get it on the keyboard. He's like, nah, bro, it's got to be live. So I had to call up an old friend. I'm like, bro, can you do some trumpets? You come down, done some trumpet. And then that led to then having the band, and then he got his friends together. But that's where my influences have always stemmed from, is not comedy. Comedy's almost last, because if I do watch comedy, I'm analysing it.
Yeah, you're
the way he's holding the mic, the way he told the joke.
You can't relax. That's
so work. Yeah, I don't really watch a lot of comedy. I tend to get my inspirations. Like, I love people's stories on stand up and how they got started, and you know, I'd always watch it as a fan anyway. But yeah, it's more for me. It's always been music and production, the way people put stuff together, the way, like, one thing that always inspires me musically, and you most probably had this, is, you know, when. And we were kind of saying it actually when I was talking about when you make up like something live and on the audience and it happens. And you mostly had it in music where you've been sitting there with a lyric and you're like, nah, nah, nah. And then my man can put the melody to it. And you're like, whoa, record it now, let's hear it right now. And you're like, that bangs.
That's it.
And it's that excitement to do it. And then you have to then it's weird because it kind of gets boring, because you then have to, all right, cool, got to record this now. Got to memorizing it, but then you knew the essence of where it grew.
Straight.
And I think that's one thing I've always rated about you, because you've always done it like your own way. Do you know what I mean? Like your podcast is totally different to any podcast that's out there, and that's why you should be winning awards and why you do win awards for it. Do you know what I mean? But also just inspiring, you know, other people of, like, you know, because I could imagine people like George the poet, but he's making a song. That's not poetry. And I'm like, but who says it's not? Shakespeare banging out plays, bruv. Do you know what I mean? No one's saying, big man,
stay in your lane.
Start, where's the clicks, bruv? Do you know what I mean? Like, and I think that's why, like, as I said, like, your journey has always inspired me, of someone who can do it just a little bit different creatively. Do you know what I mean? Whether, like, even when I brought out my Netflix thing and had music, and I had this one review and it was like, yeah, it was good, but like, you know, like the music was a bit of a cliche. And it was just so funny, because it's like I knew I would have that, because it's not the norm. Yeah, it's not the norm to have a comic have a special. Why has he got a live band? What's the reason for it? That's not funny. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, I've seen people before me do stuff and I'm like, this is George from Sunday Show doing an O2 advert, swimming in the water with the man them, like like that's bare sick, bruv. Like, and I think it's those things, because sometimes these opportunities will go to musicians, actors, then sports. Do you know what I mean? So when you can see someone who is like, bruh, he's done it from a totally different perspective, but then he's brought his commercial world to it as well and stayed the same. hats off to you, bruv.
Respect,
honestly, man.
Guy. Enough
Yeah.
love, man.
And honestly, bruv, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Bro, it's only right.
Yeah. What you got coming up?
I'm working on. I'm writing my second book. That's gonna be. That's all next year, probably.
Yeah.
I'm working on chapter 3 of the podcast. You know, I was explaining how I write it like a box set.
Yeah.
It's the same motion this time round. But to be honest with you, a lot of these ideas that I'm talking about community development, that's why I stepped away from being in the camera so much, because I really needed to focus on what that would look like. And that's probably the main thing that's going on for me. I'm working with a group of economic thinkers, a group of educational experts as well, on what we can design to do all of the things that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
So, first of all, thank you for, talking to me about youth clubs today.
Yeah. Because you know what it is, having you on, it's like, it's making sure, it's like, I got George here, innit?
Yeah.
Like, I know time is precious for you, like, so it's not like, and as I said, like, weirdly with the pod, people like, man, you got to have like, it's got to be serious sometimes. And I'm like, yeah, but it's also got to be like a real conversation that you want to have with someone that makes sense.
Facts.
There's a reason why I chose youth clubs today, not just plugged it like, you at youth club still? Do you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? But at the same time, not also making you feel like you're the spokesperson for like the black generation. So George, youth clubs, tell us, my man, what do you think? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, man.
But it's also someone that's like, I can share these stories and stuff, and like, it's authentic. It's not just like, so why do you think there's a decline on the youth club, George? Do you know what I mean?
But this is why I appreciate it even more, because first of all, as Mo the comedian, there's no pressure on you to do this. You could talk about any other comedian, bro. And what many people know you for is a style of joking or storytelling that isn't necessarily about, building the next generation. So I see that you've done this of your own initiative, which is a great example for the future generation of content creators, number one. Number two, I feel like you coming from the experiences that you've come from, and this is one thing I've always appreciated about your presence on stage and in the scene. It is as authentic as any rapper from our community. You can hear the references. I know the music you listen to is the same. We were in the same spaces, whether or not we were physically there, right? Your youth club was my youth club, even though you're from South and from Northwest. So to hear the familiarity, but without the toxic narrative that sometimes creeps in, it's healthy, bro. It's like it's like medicine, because a lot of the time when we talk about our upbringing, it's all the darkness of it. It's like, no, but we caught joke, bro. We were happy.
Yeah.
We didn't know any different, so we really appreciate it anyway.
Yeah, of course.
And your work always does that. So, and bro, to watch you, the momentum, yeah.
Big ups, bruv.
Cuzzy, the show and also the actual fact of it, the momentum that you've built up throughout your career, it is actually, as far as I've seen, it's unprecedented. We just ain't seen it like that. We haven't seen anyone be able to, like I said, hone their craft on the ground, in the field, in the trenches, translate it onto emerging or new platforms, a new way of doing things. When I met you, social media wasn't what it is now.
Yeah.
Yet you were able to harness that and show people new models. When I saw you doing the shorts, the different MCs, different feds, everything you said, first of all, again, it's directly from our community, but it's a different way of looking at the story.
Yeah.
That fed stuff, if you know, you know.
Yeah.
And then the way you did it, you made me smile about situations that have really pissed me off.
I remember because you messaged me about that as well.
Oh, swear.
Yeah, I remember you messaged me about that. It was like a brief message, or you even messaged me or you told me about it. I remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you know, because it's like, brother, I remember. Sorry, I'm. There's just things that I always think about you. So you're hearing all of them now. But I remember watching that Fed video, and there's one thing that you said. There was the Fed that's like, I think it's the Fed that begs it. The way you portrayed them.
Yeah, that was it. You made it. Yeah. You put it on your Insta story. That's what it was. Yeah. You were crying with laughter. Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. Still, yeah.
It's like,
and he's like, what does he say? He goes, you're a waste man.
Yeah,
he's like, you a wasted man. Yeah, all right, I'm a waste man.
I'm a waste man. That's what I am. But it's like when you're going through that with the police, it's not me. I find it hard to laugh. You know, I get on my Black Power stuff.
Yeah.
But then when someone who went through it is able to make you smile about it's therapy, B. And I was explaining to a lot of people recently that the barbershop is like the only form of therapy that we get.
I said that recently as well, bro.
Swear down.
Yeah. So mad that you said that. Because, that we definitely need to chop this up for another episode about barbershop still.
Barbershops is a whole other thing.
Yeah. Because we'll be here for a long still. And the camera's flashing. The camera's like, you're big man. Your time is almost done, blood. That's why I didn't even clock when you was talking a couple of times. I was like,
I saw you. I was like, it's pressure. But I got to tell him, but it's pressure. All right, cool.
It's calm as long as that one's on. But, bruv, thank you for coming on. Appreciate your time as always. Yes, guys, if you enjoyed it, make sure you use the hashtag no money mo problems. Yes, and yeah, as I said, man, follow George the Poet. He's got tons of projects coming up. And yeah, take care, love, and yeah, respect your mum. Peace.
Result.